At the age of 22 years, I became the first millionaire in Bangladesh. First $1 million boy, you could say. And nobody was having $1 million in pockets those days like me. I lost 70 million US dollar in my airline venture. That is a later stage story I'll tell you. But I feel that 70 million is nothing. Because I came with 35 cents because when my father brought to the capital city, he left me with 35 US cents of today in my pocket. And that's my capital. You have such a nice connections all over the world, traveled more than 147 countries, and you have friends everywhere in Africa. And in 1 year, we grew over 1,000%. Because from one staff, we employed over 1,700 people.
I would argue maybe there may be more millionaires in Bangladesh than in France,
Yes.
or entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So actually, it's all a question of perspective. Hi everyone, this is Julien, Drolon, your host. Today we are, for the first time, introducing this new podcast concept in 2025, 1st of January, and I have the immense privilege and pleasure to interview our first guest, Dr. Haider Uzzaman, who is a renowned global citizen, business entrepreneur. And today we are doing this interview in Kuala Lumpur right after Investor Summit 2024 Kuala Lumpur. And he was the pioneer of this since 2017. This is the third edition. I just attended the event. There were more than 100 guests from 20 plus different countries. A lot of business talk, a lot of investment opportunities were showcased. So we are so happy to have you to be our first guest on this podcast. It's a true honor. I had the chance to have some private conversation with you to understand more and to read your book, Shock to Success. On my way from Turkey to Kuala Lumpur, I read this from cover to cover in 90 minutes. I took some notes and I really enjoyed to discover how you made it to the top. And this is my first question, Dr. Haider. Please let us know, how did we arrive here today in Kuala Lumpur? What's the journey that led you to set up this huge network around the world with friends that you know for the past few decades?
Thank you, Mr. Drolon. I appreciate your question, and it's a pleasure to be present here with you in this podcast show. And to the viewers, warm greetings to this show, and I hope they will enjoy our conversation. Well, thanks for asking me the question about my journey, how it began. As you know, I'm a dreamer. I'm not a normal dreamer. I'm an extreme dreamer. And I started dreaming with high self-esteem at the age of 7 years. When I was 7, 8 years, I used to dream a lot. But I did not want to settle for less. I did not want to be somebody small. I wanted somebody to be visible, impactful, something new. So it's not from today or it's not from yesterday. The journey began very long back when I was a child. And then, as you have seen from my book, I was born in a very humble family. My father, my grandfather, and my forefathers, they were all in business. They never did any job anywhere in the world. But my father lost all his business back in 1982 because of his illness. He was in the hospital. Those days, you understand how the business was run. It was not a corporate structure. He was a big businessman in the then Pakistan time. I mean, when he started back in 1950s. But in 1980s beginning, he had a health issue and he was in the hospital for 4 months. And the business went bad. So he could not support our education. We are 7 siblings. So he could not support our education much. So I decided within myself that I must start my own things. I must start making money. So at the age of 14, when I was appearing my exams for secondary school certificates, SSC, Immediately after the exam was finished on the 23rd of March, 1984.
Mhm.
And 24th of March, I started my journey. From the village, I came to the capital city of Bangladesh, where I was born. And I started thinking what to do. So first day I borrowed some money from my sister, and I started buying green chili from the producer and then selling it to the retailers. So look at the scenario. So a businessman will think like a business. I learned this from my father, how to do this. So I started with this item, but I didn't continue for a longer time. I was pursuing something else. So I started acquiring skills and knowledge. So I started learning typing. I started learning shorthand. I started speaking better English, though we could speak English from our childhood, but I started learning better English. And from there, I looked for a job and I got jobs. It was not easy job, but I got it one after the other. And then I did 3 jobs in my life. One was the biggest companies in Bangladesh is Baximco Group, which is the biggest group in Bangladesh. And then I got a chance to work with United Nations Children's Fund and with other UN agencies called ICDDRB, one of the international organizations. I continued my journey there for 3.5 years as a very senior manager. And I quit my job on my own and started my full-time business back in 1994. So that's the journey. And then started something new. I didn't go for the business that other people will do. I thought of something else, that what is needed in the marketplace in Bangladesh those days. So I found out that there is a niche market, something is missing, which is services, I would say. So what I did is I put a name called IPSSL, meaning International Project Support Services System Limited. So that was the name of the company. So the name shows what we do. We support any international project, any embassies, any missions, any projects, any UN agencies. Those days, there was no service. There was no rent-a-car service. People didn't have even the concept of car rental services in Bangladesh. People didn't have the concept of private security services. There was no concept that you can outsource human resources. These are all the things that I started back in 1991, humbly, and then 94 full-time. And when I sent 5,000 letters those days and fax, there was no internet. And my customers, overnight we received hundreds of calls from different agencies, including American Embassy asking for cars, asking for services, asking this, that, and so many other projects came forward. So with one staff I started, and overnight I had to employ more staff and more people, more compatriot. And in 1 year, we grew over 1,000%. Because from one staff, we employed over 1,700 people. So you can see the growth in terms of human resources. At the age of 22 years, I became the first millionaire in Bangladesh. First $1 million boy, you could say. Nobody was having $1 million in pockets those days like me. So that was an addition. And now, as I'm very happy to tell you that we at Group 4, though I'm not owning the company anymore, but I'm very proud that we employed almost 100,000 people in the company.
Amazing.
In Bangladesh and outside Bangladesh also. They're working in different Group 4 companies. Right now, the company named as G4S, which has been bought up by Allied Universal recently in the US. So they are the current owner of the company. We exited, but look at the scenario. We created this, yes. We created 100,000 jobs. Immediately, one of my customers said, you are growing too big, Haider. You need to be internationalizing your business of car rental. We were the biggest car rental companies in Bangladesh, but locally. And then immediately I said, who is the biggest? I found out Hertz is the biggest. So we immediately went to Singapore regional office and met Mr. Hong Sun Hua and then got the licensee of Hertz. And we ran for 20 years with Hertz Rent-A-Car. And from 2 cars, we grew up to 750 cars. We did so many prestigious national program, international program also we conducted. So this is how it is. And then from the helicopter, I bought my own helicopter. I was the pioneer to buy the first helicopter in Bangladesh in private sector.
You came back to your village by helicopter? Is
By
correct?
helicopter
That's what
all
I
the
read
time,
in the
yes.
book, right? Because you made a promise to yourself.
That's
And
right.
this is very important just to insert my thought on that, because you talk about the importance to have a burning will
Yes.
and to understand the businessman behind. What's the intention, the main intention, and of course you will continue to talk about all these successes is basically your relationship with your mother, where you wanted to show her and your family you will come back only successfully, and you came back in big fashion with this helicopter.
Yes, that was you put me on a kind of an emotional question. Well, when I was finishing my school, and on 24th of March 1984, I was coming to Dhaka, our capital city, from our village. My mother suddenly burst into tears, and she started crying like a baby, holding me on her arms. And I was totally moved. I could not really say anything. I was also crying like hell. But I promised to my mother, holding her, that I will come back in a very, very big way. Sorry that I become emotional. But I told her that when I become big, then only I come to this village. Before that, I will not come back. And you just pray for me. So that was the inspiration behind and this shock to success. That was the biggest shock I had ever till now. I had probably bigger than this shock. Like I lost $70 million in my airline venture. That is a later stage story I'll tell you. But I feel that 70 million is nothing because I earned the money and I lost it. That's not a problem. It doesn't hurt me at all.
You made it.
I made it because I didn't borrow it from bank. I didn't borrow it from my father. I didn't take it from my wife. I didn't take it from anybody in the world. I made the money and I lost the money because I came with 35 cents because when my father brought to the capital city, he left me with 35 US cents of today in my pocket. And that's my capital. That's from where I started. And today, as we are talking in this Intercontinental Hotel in Kuala Lumpur, you have seen what we have done for last few days.
Amazing.
Over 50 countries, people came as my guests, and we have been still treating. And in the morning, I had a breakfast with them. Some groups came from Shanghai, from Singapore, and all those. But these are the money that my father is not paying. Nobody is paying. I am earning the money and I'm paying for it. So God has given me the ability to earn my money. And it is not only that it was my wish or it was my simple intention. It was my burning will that I must do this. And that was the shock that I give the word to my mother, nobody else, because I love my mother. And till now, I'm a mother-loving boy. In the family, they all know that there is only one person in the world that can phone me anytime 24/7. And even a president calling from a country, I will not pick up the phone. Only one person, even my wife calling, with all due respect, I'll not pick up, probably not pick up the phone. But only one phone that I will pick up is my mother, wherever I am. Even if I'm with the president, with the prime minister, doesn't matter. That's my priority number one. She's the best priority, first priority. So that is how it inspired me. So it was always chasing me that I need to see my mother happy. I need to see my mother smiling. I need to see because my mother was shocked that the way she grew me up with a lot of, in a way, I would say those days, in those standards, silver spoon. I was like a, baby. I mean, I was built like a baby. So she was still thinking, oh, it's like a small baby going to the capital city for doing his own work. No, she could not take it,
It was a long journey. Huh? When I read the books, 24 hours.
It was 24 hours.
24 hours by bus?
No. It was by motor launch. This boat, this motor boat.
Yeah.
It was not a ship, but it was a motor launch. And it was very long journey, very tiring and boring. But we made it happen because when you have the intention to win over, when you have the burning will, then nothing can stop you.
Yeah, it could have been another title, The Burning Wheel, because I really enjoyed the book. On top of it, it has illustrative pictures, and it can help us to understand. So when you're telling me the story now live, I can totally relate to the book because I saw the picture, how you started, in which offices, which conditions, and we can see the growth path, which is really amazing. And of course, my father-in-law is a former Malaysian airline captain, so when I found out that you own your own airline at some point, I was really looking forward to talk to you because I've always been a big admirer of captains because I fly a lot like you, and I'm always impressed. They really take care of our life. It's of course a risky business, as we say, and you've been into this. You've been into this game, and you win, you lose. But can you share about your story, because you were the first private airline in Bangladesh. And you own at some point 7 airlines?
7 aircraft, yes.
7 aircraft. So if you can share with us what happened to you, the lesson you learned from this, and what led you to from asset-based business to more, I would say, human resources or networking type of business that you are doing now?
Good question. Thank you very much, Mr. Drolon. Appreciate that. As I said, my journey started with this big project in Bangladesh called Jamuna Bridge. And my client, they were demanding one after the other services. So we continued with our helicopter journey. And then they asked for air charter services for cargo. And I found out the cargo airplanes and started the cargo airline. That was the first airline that we started. And then in passengers, I went into passengers as well. And air ambulance, whatnot. So one after the other, and one demand. I did not start any services when my customer did not demand for it. And I made my money before launching a business, in most cases. But of course, I could not sustain in some of the business. I failed in so many businesses in life. You will not even believe it. But with the airline, yes, I started in 1996. I went always for some impactful, transformative, innovative business. I don't want to deal with something that other people are doing. I don't want to be a competitor in common ground.
You like Blue Ocean strategy?
Yes, absolutely. I want to do something different. In this water, I want to add some value and then create something else. It's not only water, it's a value-added water, and then sell. I'll not sell water, even if it is 110 people asking for water, I'll not. But I will sell water with some value added. So with the airline concept, what I did back in 2007, I had enough cash sitting in the bank on my own. And, I decided to go for a business of passenger services. I was making good money from my cargo business. And till now, I am in cargo business. I have an airline that still operates cargo. But in 2007, I went for full-fledged passenger services and started acquiring aircraft. I acquired 7 Boeing 737 and MD-83 mixed aircraft fleet and started flying to 9 international destinations into 2008. Mm-hmm. In March, we started flying to Bangkok, Singapore, Malaysia, and Dubai. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time we also connected. First time in the history, we connected our flights to Maldives. Maldives and Sri Lanka.
This is where I spent my honeymoon.
So that is where we connected the flight.
To that, yeah.
We are the pioneer in connecting those routes. So, but the difficulties we had because I chose the wrong equipment because that was our short-term plan that in 2 years' time we'll be, knowing and developing the human resources, the structure and everything, and then we'll change to modern aircraft like Boeing 737-800 and all. But during this time, I had only Boeing 737-200 and MD-83. That was a bit old aircraft, and it was burning a lot of fuel. And you remember that in 2008 and 2009, the fuel price went up to $140 a barrel.
Yeah.
So that really killed me and many airlines across the world. So I had to stop flying as a passenger carrier back in 2010. 2010, we stopped all our routes and we shut down our passenger operations. So that was the thing. But what we did is we operated till date with immense safety records, that we never had an accident or incident as such that we killed somebody or somebody is injured. No, it didn't happen into our company because I believe in quality. And quality doesn't come automatically. If you are sleeping, quality will not come. You need to keep an eye and you need to ensure that everybody understands your mission. Everybody understands the vision. And also, I call it as a CRM. Earlier, it was like cockpit resources management. Then it became crew resources management because cockpit is not enough. The cabin crew has to do their job also. So it became a crew resources management. Then they found out that there is, in addition to the crew, there are ground staff that are also important. So they said, the company resource management. So that's how it is. How you manage your resources, that has to be well planned, and the SOP, standard operating procedure, to be in place. And every single person in an airline company, because it's very, very sensitive organization, very highly regulated and by the different regulatory authorities, including International Civil Aviation Organization and local civil aviation organization and all those. So, under all these scrutinies, we qualified to fly to Singapore. It's not so easy. Singapore will not allow any Tom, Dick, and Harry to come and and play around. So Dubai will not allow anybody to come and do this. Kuala Lumpur the same. So we also qualified to go further, but before that we had to shut down, unfortunately. But I kept my journey. However, and then also we owned a couple of hotels and a resort in Bangladesh as well, and hotels in Thailand, Malaysia, and in Montenegro.
And you had your private jets from Subang Jaya, right?
Yeah, I started with 2 private jets, which was from Subang Airport, and then we moved to Johor Airport to serve the Singapore and Indonesian market. That we could move very fast and easy. And we were using one of the aircraft as air ambulance, Medivac, and one I was using for myself and for other friends.
Which allowed you to travel all over the world. You travel in more than 140 countries. I was so impressed about the portfolio of countries you visited, specifically in Africa, where you have a very strong network with chief of states, President Kikwete, former President Kikwete, very famous, most charismatic, arguably in Africa. So I was so impressed to see all the people that you met and did business with in Africa. You're strong passionate of Africa. You've been recently on your LinkedIn, which has like more than 20,000 followers, saying that Africa is a really good place for doing business. You've done this for the past 30 years. Can you share with us your passion for Africa, doing business Africa? The next business summit will occur in 2025 in Africa, I think in Kenya. Or maybe another country. It will be decided soon. Please share with us about that.
Thank you. Yes, with the jet and without the jet, before the jet also, I kept on traveling. Because one thing I understood that knowing culture, knowing people is my asset. Knowing you are an asset for me. If you are a good friend, if I can claim that you are a good friend, if I have done my due diligence on you, and if I say you are a good friend and you are a reliable one, then you are an asset. I can give you certain responsibility and we can do business together. And, I have seen that my best friends are all around. I developed friendship. Those who were my clients, they turned to be friends, roving fan, as I say, and they support me immensely. So when I saw that all these friends, they need support and they need to meet each other. Like I have friends that are having money, that are running big companies with funds, and also they invest in different places. And there are my friends, those who are in need of money, those who are in need of services across the world that someone can supply, someone can support. So in 2016, it was a very interesting journey that I was sitting in Kuala Lumpur in this hotel downstairs in the lobby and having coffee with one of my friends. And he's a fan of mine. I just introduced him to the other day to the audience. And he was saying, you have such a nice connections all over the world, traveled more than 147 countries, and you have friends everywhere in Africa, which is people say it is a difficult continent, but for me, it's the most convenient continent. So because I have traveled out, 42 countries out of 54 in Africa. So people, might find it very, very tough. Even any African leaders probably not traveled so many countries. But I have traveled all around Africa, and I never had a problem. Nobody has snatched my money. Nobody has harmed me. Nobody has killed me. Nobody has done anything wrong with me that grossly. Well, there are small things happening everywhere in the world. So the biggest amount of money I lost in a decent country, I don't want to name and single out them, but you see, those are the things there. But with these 147 countries experience, I thought that I have friends that I can reach out with my mobile with one single message. If I can reach out to 150 over countries and friends, then I can see who will respond to me. So in 16, basically, I sent a message that 2017, I'm going to host you for a day. From morning till evening, you will be my guest. Do you want to come? And I saw that 130 friends from 70 over countries. They said, yes, I want to come and see you. This is where in Intercontinental Kuala Lumpur, I booked the whole ballroom. And we had a wonderful day here. And we didn't just got together for meeting and talking. We got together to discuss about business also. So I let everybody discuss, each other that do the networking and sitting in the ballroom, drinking coffee, tea, and having lunch. And so on whole day, it was like this. There is no chief guest, no special guest, no speaker, nothing. So we just said, okay, this is your world. You are all VIPs. As you saw in our room, there was no name tag, nothing. There is no VIP, no CIP, no special, no nothing. Everybody is
felt like family and
Absolutely.
group of circles of friends. And because of you and the trust people have in you, we automatically trust each other as well.
Absolutely. Because these are all my known friends. And what happened is I invested my own money and invited them. But my friends, they understand. So we closed a deal. And the deal is very interesting. You see how the inspiration came from. It was a company from Switzerland came to look for investment. The investor is from Italy, living in Dubai. They came also here. And I connected, sitting in Kuala Lumpur, and they got connected. They committed the investment. And they made the investment for Africa.
Amazing.
For Liberia and Sierra Leone. So look at this dynamics. It's 5-6 elements involved. Company from Switzerland, investor from Italy living in Dubai, coming to Malaysia, making deals and investing for Africa. So what a beautiful scenario. So it gave me a big boost that, okay, I made my money. They paid me the fees and all those, and they were very happy. They're still happy. And I started, and some of my friends put this on social media. And social media, I don't say social media these days. It's a social capital. So some of the big friends, billionaires, they came also, and they put it in their social media. And then other friends, they started calling me and texting me that, why didn't you invite me? I wanted to come. So I got, come on. I said, okay, next year I do it again here in the same place. So 2018 again, we did it. And this time I invited 250 friends, including 2 presidents. And they both committed. And President of Kosovo, President of Central African Republic. And it was 235 people in the whole ballroom. And we closed how many deals, 8 deals.
Yeah, it's only 8.
8 deals we closed over a period of time during 2019. That time I felt that I need to learn. I need to learn. I feel it even right now that I need to learn something from you, something from others, something from a kid even that we can learn. Learning has no age, no barrier, no limit, no time. If somebody is thinking that he knows everything or she knows everything, that's wrong. That will be the biggest mistake someone will make in life. This part I can tell you at this time of my life. So 2020, what I did is I found out that a mentor like Dan Locke, he's looking for, Dragon 100 members, those who are high net worth individual. He was looking for one of the, to form a group of Dragon 100. And I applied for it. So he interviewed me time and again in his team. And finally, I was qualified and I joined as a Dragon 100 member by paying $30,000 as fees during that time. And
initially, you told me they were surprised because your CV was too big.
yeah,
But why you need us? Like, why we? Because you are really you achieve a lot as an entrepreneur. But you explained to him. So remind me the reason. You said there's a reason you want to learn something from them. And
correct, because he saw my CV and he said that this guy is overqualified because Dan Locke is 14 years junior to me by age. And he's an immigrant in Canada, and he went with no money, no English, and now he's a big guy in the world,
big time, yeah.
and impactful. And he's like my Sifu. Sifu means teacher. Yes. I love him. I respect him. I promote him. Yes. I adhere him. I still admire him as my teacher. So I said, he said that whatever I say, he will not listen to his Desmond Soon. His general manager was talking to me all the times, not Dan Locke initially. So he said that Dan Locke said that you will not listen to him because you are in so many things and so many business. You need to streamline and all those and so on. So I said, yeah, I'll listen to him, but only one part. He was asking me a question: how much money you want to make in next 1 year? I said, that I know. I will tell you the figure, but making money, I don't need Dan Locke for that. But the reason I failed in some of the businesses in my life, I have some failures, some frustration. Why it is like that? Because I did not manage to retain my money. I was over trading always. I was venturing too much. So I said, I need to learn. I need the knowledge from him how to retain money. I can earn money. Earning money is not a problem. I can create something and it will sell like hell. But money, somebody will print for me somewhere in the world for sure. But retaining this, I don't know how to retain the money. So he needs to give me the required knowledge. That clicked. And then Dan Locke said, okay, I'll give him the strategy to retain the money. So that's how he accepted me as a student, and I continued my journey. And it was a fantastic journey, I would say. And while doing this mentorship with Dan Locke as my mentor, I also attracted so many other young generations in developing countries, like in Africa, like in Bangladesh, like in India, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and all those. A bunch of young generations that contacted me, that kept on talking to me. And that's when I started my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn account was long time back open, but I never operated. And Dan Locke told me
25,000 followers.
It's 26,000 now.
It's growing every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
So the Dan Locke said that you should have a LinkedIn account. I said, I think I have. I don't have an account. So when I typed out my name, it shows that I have an account, but it is dormant. I never used it. So 2021, I started my LinkedIn account. And started, posting some of my things, some of my experience, knowledge, and all those. So that attracted some of the people. And today I have this big bunch of followers and a lot of friends. And LinkedIn gave me you as
I was about to say, this is how I discovered about you like 10 days ago.
That's right. Yeah.
And we met here and
look at the
we've done one
we
day
are already
together,
in
right?
business. Yes. Right? So in multiple business we are in. So that's how it happens. There are many of the friends. And as you heard from my friend, Mr. Gonzalo Trenas yesterday,
Yes.
How I went as a member of the delegation of Portuguese government to Kosovo.
Yes.
And, met with so many other dignified friends. And some of them are here, as you could see. That's how it is.
Yeah.
It's very important that we have the network, the right network is very important.
Yes.
That who you mix up with, who are your friends, that's very important. And that's how the mentors like Jan Locke says that show me your friends, I will show you your future and your money.
Yes.
So that's very important, that who are your friends? And that's how I say to my mentees as well, those who follow me. And I do high-level consulting based on my experience of failure, massive volume of failures in some of the businesses and in my ventures, and also massive volume of success in my ventures. Some of the businesses I made massive success, which nobody will ever be able to dream of even. So coming with my kind of an humble background. So that was possible because I took massive action. I believe in it's my burning will that I want to do this. If it was not a burning will, this summit would not happen here in Kuala Lumpur. It will not happen.
And it took you only 2 months to organize it.
Just 2 months, you believe me.
And prior to this, you left, I think, Canada like 2 months ago or so, and you stopped in Portugal. And I want to talk about this because you launched this book, Peacemakers on Earth, in Portugal at another business summit. I didn't have the time to read it because I just got it yesterday, but you feature many very famous people like Kofi Annan, the former Secretary of United Nations.
Right.
Which one is your favorite among all of them? Like, which one is your main inspiration? And why did you write this book? I know you are a strong peace advocate, but if you can elaborate a little bit on that.
Thank you. Yeah, this book was first written in 2007. Mm-hmm. That was the time when I thought of peace in the world. It really pains me all the time that why the world is restless. It's not why the world is not peaceful. This is a question to me, question to you, question to everyone, question to every single person in the world. That we are all human beings. Then why can't we live in peace? We are eating the same kind of a food. We are doing the same kind of a things on a daily basis. Little different this side, that side. But we cannot live in peace. Why? What is the reason? So I asked myself, and then I thought that, okay, who did the best possible things to establish peace in the world? I went to the Nobel Peace Prize winners list, and I saw very little information available on the peacemakers. I mean, on the people that really tried very hard to establish peace in the world and got Nobel Peace Prize. So then I thought of figuring out the more information, to collect more data on them, to put it here so that the new generation, they understand, or us, we do understand why these people got the Nobel Peace Prize and what the extraordinary things that they did for this society, for the world, that they got the Nobel Peace Prize. So I found out that since the inception of the Nobel Peace Prize, prize, I found out all the Peace Prize winners and elaborated on the life. I had to contact the Nobel Committee, I had to contact the families, and I had to contact the countries. So many things. It took a long time to do this, and with my team of people, we finished it, and in 6 months, and then I wrote this book, and I featured everyone. I mean, I don't have a fascination on any single person, but as you know, that one of the gentlemen is from Bangladesh.
Yes.
This only person, Dr. Muhammad Yunus.
You read my mind. Yeah, to ask you about him because of course, as each guest in our podcast, we want to talk about where you're coming from, and a lot of things are developing in Bangladesh, and you met him. So if you can share a bit about your relationship and how do you see Bangladesh moving forward?
Sure. The Professor Yunus is known to me. He claims that I'm his friend. I have shown you the email that he sent to his team in Africa and in Europe. But I can't say that he's a friend because he's in politics now. If he was not in politics, I would say he's my friend. Since he's not in politics, I mean, he's the head of the government of Bangladesh now.
At the moment.
So at the moment, he's the prime minister de facto. So I would not claim that he's my friend, but I know him very well. He knows me well as well. So I put Professor Yunus, not today, it was put in 2007 when he got the Nobel Peace Prize on his outstanding work for eradicating poverty in Bangladesh and empowering about 10 million women in Bangladesh, giving them collateral-free loans to establish them in the society. So he did a outstanding work, and that's how he got the Nobel Peace Prize. And that was also one of the inspiration, though. Professor Yunus, big thing we achieved. So why not that is when I, in fact, started digging out who else got the Nobel Peace Prize. So
he was a trigger point.
He was a trigger point. So that's how I wrote the book, and this is the second edition we published last year. Before he became the head of the caretaker government, rather he was under extreme situation under the former regime. He was jailed for 6 months in one case, and there were 5 other money laundering cases against him that were pending. And the day he became the prime minister, that same day he was supposed to go to the jail. The moment he would be landing from Paris Olympic, he should be going into the jail. This is his statement he gave. So instead of going to the jail, he went to the State House and took oath as the head of the government. Look at this scenario. So, that was one of the inspiration, Professor Yunus. And he was also our goodwill ambassador of my airline. So, of my airline when it was flying. So he was, we had a wonderful relationship, and I still support him. As a human being, as a person, he's a great, outstanding person. I like him so much. I love him simply.
And how about your original country, Bangladesh? Like, what do you see as for investors, because you are in that business line? What type of sectors? Of course, textile comes into my mind. I just interviewed yesterday one of your mentee who is learning from you. Which other sectors do you think it's a good place to invest in Bangladesh in the near future? We talked just a lot about Guyana with your friend, Dr. Peter Ramsaup, who is the head of Go Invest in Guyana. And of course, if I had more time with this podcast, I would love to talk about this country, because you are the one who told me and reminded me actually that's one of the fastest growing economy in the world. What about Bangladesh at this point in time?
Thank you. Good question. Well, Guyana is the fastest growing economy in the world, as you heard from Dr. Ramsarup yesterday. It was so nice of him that he came as the representative of the Honorable President of Guyana, His Excellency Dr. Irfan Ali, who is also known to me, who also took me for some of his official visits. So I'm a pretty supporter, I would say a great supporter, a fan of Dr. Irfan Ali, a good leader, a good businessman, I would say. A statement, very good statement. In terms of the Bangladesh perspective, it's a booming country. The economy will boom regardless of anything. As long as the neighbors one of the neighbor is not disturbing much and destabilizing the country, the Bangladesh is bound to grow because of its vibrant population. You can see all these Bangladeshis, how, they're doing the job here in the hotel. Here, most of the staffs are from Bangladesh.
Correct.
And you can see they're smiling, they're hardworking. And also their innovative mindset. Every single person in Bangladesh have an innovative mindset. So that's the country is supposed to grow And we have a massive volume of expatriate living in different countries. The diaspora population is 20 over million right now.
Huge.
And we are building other people's economy. The Malaysian economy, we are contributing so much. We have more than 1 million people working for Malaysian economic development. Don't look at it that you are employing only. You should look at that what these 1 million contributing here.
Yes.
In your economy. I mean, without these 1 million people, your economy will be dead. Tomorrow, if they go back, it will be impacting very negatively to your economy. In Saudi Arabia, we have more than 2.5 million people. In Dubai, in UAE, we have more than 1 million population in Dubai. The economy is in their hand. They're contributing significantly, I would say. And also our industries. Over a period of time, it's growing. Our former president, Ziaur Rahman, he was the most popular president in the country. And one of the biggest inspiration for me also. He's my mentor as well. I learned a lot of things from him and his workmanship. I still love him as a country, as the president of a country, as a leader. He knew how to build this country. So he started something, this textile, as you mentioned. It was President Ziaur Rahman who passed a special law that anybody bringing orders to do this textile will get bank financing instantly on a back-to-back. Like we get a LC, letter of credit from the buyer. The bank will open letter of credit against the importation of the raw materials. Those days we used to bring raw materials from China, Korea, Japan, and all those places, including the buttons and, everything. Threads and so on. So he passed this law, and that gave a big breakthrough to the textile industry. And also he prioritized President Ziaur Rahman prioritized a lot of sectors, including agriculture. He built the agriculture sector, I would say. And that's how the Bangladesh is self-sufficient today with the food production. We have a very small country, 146,000 square kilometers. But we have 200 over million population at the moment. You just imagine the way I cut a jokes that you throw a stone towards the sky. If it falls, somebody will be dead because the country is the most densely populated country in the world, I would say. So but there are immense potential. Like right now, I even did not know that there are 450 over vessels, ocean-going vessels. It's not coastal or internal vessels. I'm talking about ocean-going big-size vessels, including some of the mother vessels carrying 100,000 over tons of fuel that are owned by Bangladeshis. Container vessels. I'm just giving you one example. We are producing so much of cement with 60 over cement factories. The economy is massively big. It is growing. It's a $500 billion economy at the moment. And it is supposed to be a $1 trillion economy in next 5 years by 2030. Yeah. So that's a massive big economy and it's bound to grow. I would say Bangladesh has an immense potential in terms of its human resources, human capital is still cheaper human capital. The availability of the facilities are still to be worked out. Like we had a lot of gas, but now the gas resources is coming down. We have electricity is in good shape, but we need to still improvise. Definitely there are a scope. Infrastructure is fantastic already. It's a beautiful infrastructure already, I would say, but we still have a scope to improvise it on a daily basis, for sure, to make the country as a developed one. We need a lot of investment, foreign direct investment in different sectors, in infrastructure, in industry, manufacturing, services.
Talking about promotion, a company I've been working with, Global FDI Reports, last year published an excellent business report within the Gulf News, the leading English newspaper in UAE, and it helped me to learn a bit more about Bangladesh. And then I met you. So I think there's a lot of things we need to learn about Bangladesh. We often, from the Western mindset, we think Bangladesh is a poor country. But when I talked to you, you told me about our 10% of rich people. I would argue maybe there are maybe more millionaires in Bangladesh than in France. Or entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So actually, it's all a question of perspective.
Correct.
Because it seems that Europe is going down and that there are more opportunities. Of course, we're always talking about China, India. Those are the two biggest growing economy right now. But Bangladesh or even Pakistan, they're going to have things to say in the global scale. And with this entrepreneurship mindset, that you are the first example of that. And I think it's very promising, and that will help to reduce poverty because you create more jobs and more possibilities for your own people. So thank you so much. I don't want to finish this podcast without talking about one man, Mr. Dan Pena, because we have this thing in common. Like you also learn from him. You went to his castle in Scotland, or
he's a great mentor. I follow him on a daily basis, and though sometimes he's a bit serious, roughed up, and all those, but it doesn't work without roughed up. And what I was talking yesterday. So it is very important to have mentors, but you need real-time good mentors for your life to go along. So yes, you follow him, I follow him, and I follow many mentors as well. That as I said that yesterday, that I had 39 mentors virtually. Those who do not exist in this world, some of them, they passed away, like President Joe Roman, President Abraham Lincoln. They are my mentor also. I still read their books. I still read their how President Abraham Lincoln spent his time in a tiny shop where he had he was sleeping in a shop literally, and spending his time and without food some days. He was staying with his friend, and when the friend was not coming, he was not having even food to eat. But from there, he became the president. So you see, the intention is not working. Yeah. Those days, probably that was intention that he wanted to be somebody, he wanted to be the president, but that is not working today's reality. Yeah. Because it is more competitive. So we need to be having a burning will. That will, I must. It needs a lot of energy. The energy level is going down. So among the people, like our people that, as Dan Pena said, that
especially the
snowflakes.
Exactly, like
is a young generation. They're snowflakes. They get melted. Under the pressure.
That's what I wanted to talk about is style, because I met your son, and I have also 3 sons, and the generation of men that is coming out didn't go for the same thing as we didn't know about internet back then. We had to work, as we said, put your hands into the business, and he was kind of like complaining about the new generation being very low, like high ambitions comparing to him, So that's why. What's your opinion on the new generation coming forward? You also have a son like me. Are you concerned about the new generation, or you think that they will be able to navigate all of those crises and they will be able to rise? And what are the key advice you can give, especially in terms of financial freedom, which is one of your expertise? Yesterday, you gave a course about that, and you mentioned there are a few words that you never use anymore: if, but, and there's 2 more. So if you can...
If, but, maybe, no.
Yes. Or if we can finish this podcast with that, it would be fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Drolon, once again. Well, the new generation, yes, they are the future of this world. But we have built them as farm chicken, kind of, we have really given them too much of privilege. Mm-hmm. That is only thing is worrying me, that we did not build them the way we should have built them. There is one mistake this generation, our generation or earlier generation did. I mean, our generation especially. This is a question mark for all the parents that are in the world at the moment, that we need to really give them the feeling. We need to give them the experience, a bit that we came through. Like I would say that my son, when he was born with a silver spoon, he was born and brought home by a Toyota Crown Royal Saloon, where I was brought home by walking, probably, from the hospital. Mm-hmm. No cars, no transport. So that, it doesn't mean that they need to be, they all need to be. No, it's not. But again, that's a resilience that we need to give them the feeling that the world is tough and rough, but you need to navigate through this. As this competition coming up so much, and this internet era, it's good. It's a fantastic era. It made our life easier, but at the same time, it made things so complicated and so competitive that we need to give them the required education, not only the university education, also the family education, and also the mentorship to your children. You should be the mentor. I would say in that fashion, that to my sons, I'm the mentor. I should be the mentor. They should learn things, the basic things from me, and they can definitely choose other mentors as well. And they should learn from their experience and take actions. You can learn, you can, listen whole day. But if you don't take action, nothing happens.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Haider Uzzaman. I'm looking forward to work with you and your group of circle of friends. You add true value that is truly unique in this world of sincerity, authenticity. And thank you so much for being part of our lives. And we hope for the best, and we wish you all the best for 2025. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.